Question 1. Several experts suggest the Harmony Endpoint's advanced threat prevention app capabilities must be configured to address threats that bypass traditional antivirus mechanisms. Consider a scenario where Ista Patel, an enterprise security engineer, notices that despite endpoint antivirus updates, unknown malware is consistently reaching users' devices via embedded macros in email attachments. He wants to prevent this threat proactively, which Patel do to optimize the organization's defense posture. They rely solely on signature updates and manual remediation protocols. B. Increase the antivirus scanning sensitivity to maximum. C. Disable macros across all endpoint applications. D. Enable threat emulation and threat extraction on email attachments. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Threat emulation and threat extraction are advanced capabilities of Harmony Endpoint's app module that proactively neutralize threats by sandboxing and sanitizing files before they reach the endpoint. This is crucial against polymorphic or zero-day malware embedded in documents, especially those using macro exploits. The signature updates A. B. Only cover known threats, and macro disabling C. Can break functions and doesn't address all threat vectors. As per Checkpoint's best practices in NIST SB 80083 guidelines on email security, proactive threat emulation is essential in reducing attack surface. Question 2. Which of the following best explains how supernodes are used within large-scale deployments in Harmony Endpoint architecture? A. They provide backup management for disconnected clients only. B. They replace the need for an endpoint management server. C. They serve as communication hubs to optimize bandwidth and reduce load on the main server. D. They are used solely for cloud-managed Harmony deployments. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Supernodes act as communication intermediaries between endpoints and the main server in large-scale deployments, thus minimizing WAN traffic and server overhead. They cache and reload policies, updates, and logs. A is incorrect since their role is broader than disconnected clients. B is false. They complement, not replace, the endpoint management server. D is incorrect because supernodes are also used in on-prem environments. Reference. Checkpoint Harmony Endpoint Admin Guide. Large-scale deployment with supernodes. Question 3. Among the various features available to protect endpoints from USB-based data leaks and malware infections, which configuration step is essential to implement granular access control on removable media in Harmony Endpoint? A. Enable threat hunting telemetry for all devices. B. Define and apply media encryption and port protection policies. C. Use anti-ransomware to scan all USB drives automatically. D. Schedule daily antivirus scans on removable media. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The media encryption and port protection blade provides granular control over USB, Bluetooth, and other EO interfaces. Administrators can define policies that limit access, enforce encryption, and monitor transfers. Anti-ransomware. C. Focuses on behavioral detection post-infection. Antivirus scans. D. Are not real-time. Threat hunting telemetry. A. Assists analysis but doesn't enforce access controls. Relevant sources. ISO 27002, 2022 on removable media controls and Checkpoint Harmony Admin Guide. Question 4. When evaluating the merits of troubleshooting endpoint communication issues, Mr. Osborne notices that multiple Harmony clients are not syncing policy updates. Logs show no errors on the central management server. What is the most logical next step in isolating the root cause? A. Check if the endpoint clients can resolve the AODN of the policy server. B. Reinstall the Harmony endpoint agent on affected devices. C. Disable and re-enable the endpoint firewall. D. Change the policy update interval on the server. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. One of the most common causes of communication failure is ENS resolution failure. Harmony endpoint clients rely on resolving the server's FUDN to connect and fetch policies. Reinstalling agents. B is last resort. C and D may mask the real issue. As per Checkpoint's Harmony troubleshooting guide in RFC 2782 ES-based service discovery, name resolution is found for client-server communication. Question 5. Under the assumption that you're deploying multiple Harmony endpoint modules across hybrid infrastructure, what is the role of the forensics blade in the overall architecture of Harmony endpoint components? A. It replaces the need for anti-malware and threat emulation modules. B. It allows central server patch management and software updates. C. It acts as standalone agent to enforce USB device control. D. It gathers and presents post-infection root cause analysis and response data. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. The forensics blade in Harmony Endpoint provides detailed incident analysis including process trees, malicious file behavior, and threat propagation. It complements other blades, not replaces them as in A. B. Is handled by OS management tools or third-party MDM. C. Refers to port protection. Checkpoint forensics aligns with incident handling steps from ISO 27035 and a framework. Question 6. Given the circumstances, how does the Checkpoint Infinity architecture enhance the integration and threat intelligence sharing between Harmony Endpoint and other Checkpoint security products? A. By leveraging Threat Cloud to provide unified threat intelligence across all Checkpoint products. B. By requiring each product to operate and update independently. C. Through daily manual syncs initiated by endpoint administrators. D. By centralizing all management through Smart Console exclusively. Answer. Correct answer. An explanation. Threat Cloud is the intelligence backbone of the Infinity architecture. It enables real-time sharing of threat data across network, cloud, and endpoint products. B and C misunderstand the real-time automated architecture. D is partially true but limited to management tasks. According to Checkpoint documentation and Gartner's 2023 SDR architecture recommendations, centralized automated sharing is key to effective extended detection and response SDR. Question 7. Upon closer examination of deployment planning, an enterprise IT team must calculate Harmony endpoint server sizing. Which factor plays the most significant role in determining how many endpoints a single management server can support efficiently? A. Number of anti-malware incidents reported. B. Frequency of policy updates and logs sent per endpoint. C. Version of Windows OS deployed. D. Size of the security policy file. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Server performance depends on communication frequency, how often policies, telemetry, and logs are sent. Higher frequency equals higher load. OS versions C and incidents A have less direct impact. Policy file size D matters but is not as impactful as log and policy communication. Refer to Checkpoint Sizing Guide and NIST SB 800137 Information Security Continuous Monitoring. Question 8. The traditional approach to endpoint deployment involved manual installations. In a cloud-managed Harmony endpoint scenario, which deployment method ensures seamless automatic installation at scale? A. USB-based deployment using external installation tools. B. Manual package distribution through file shares. C. Integration with Microsoft Intune or DPO for mass rollout. D. Using Smart Console to push packages over SSH. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. EPO and MDM tools like Intune automate deployment efficiently and support cloud-managed environments. A and B are not scalable. D is incorrect. A Smart Console doesn't manage Harmony directly, and SSH is irrelevant in Windows endpoints. Checkpoint supports integration with standard enterprise deployment tools per the Admin Guide and Microsoft Endpoint Manager documentation. Question 9. It has been observed that policy changes made on the Harmony Endpoint Web Management Console take effect inconsistently across different user groups. What is the most likely root cause? A. The policy engine is disabled on the server. B. The target users are not properly assigned to the relevant policy layers. C. Users are using outdated agent versions which cannot receive updates. D. The firewall blade is turned off globally. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. If users aren't mapped correctly to policy layers via add groups or tags, policy delivery is inconsistent. This is common misconfiguration. A would prevent all policies from applying, not just inconsistently. C could impact updates, but usually results in errors. D is unrelated unless firewall settings are part of the policy in question. Reference Harmony Endpoint Admin Console Policy Management and RBAC configuration. Question 10. The foundation of Harmony Endpoint success in preventing zero-day threats lies in proactive prevention. What specific combination of features achieves this result in unknown file handling, anti-ransomware and compliance blades, but USB encryption and threat card sharing, C, threat emulation and threat extraction working together, D, anti-malware with daily signature updates? Answer. Correct answer, C, explanation. Threat emulation, sandboxing, and threat extraction, content sanitization address zero-day and unknown file threats effectively. They work before the file is opened, unlike anti-malware, D, which depends on known signatures. A and B offer protection, but not specifically against zero-day payloads. According to NIST SB 80094 and Checkpoint white papers, sandboxing and content disarm technologies are essential against evasive malware. Question 11. Under the assumption that Is Ramirez is managing endpoint compliance, she notices some devices continually fail to meet the baseline security posture due to outdated software and missing patches. What is the best approach to enforce compliance and reduce risk exposure across these endpoints? A. Disable non-compliant devices from accessing the network until manually approved. B. Automatically quarantine non-compliant endpoints and trigger remediation workflows. C. Send email alerts to device owners without taking action. D. Rely solely on antivirus signatures for detection of vulnerabilities. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Automatic quarantine and remediation workflows ensure non-compliant devices do not jeopardize the network while enabling it to promptly address deficiencies. Merely alerting users. C. Lacks enforcement power and blocking without remediation. A. May disrupt business operations. Antivirus signatures. D. Do not address configuration and patch compliance. This aligns with ISO 27001 requirements on access control and endpoint compliance management. Question 12. Which of the following best describes how high availability, high configuration in Harmony Endpoint with Active Directory integration can improve enterprise security posture? A. It only replicates user credentials but not policies. B. It provides seamless failover between multiple management servers without policy interruption. C. It requires manual synchronization after failover events. D. It disables endpoint logging during failover to save resources. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. HA provides continuous availability by replicating policies, user states, and logs between primary and secondary management servers, ensuring no interruption in endpoint protection. A. Understates the scope. C. Contradicts HA's automation goal. And D. Would compromise visibility, which is unacceptable in security environments. Checkpoints HA configuration guides confirm continuous syncing and failover. Question 13. Given the circumstances where a company plans to migrate from an on-premises Harmony Endpoint Management Server to a cloud-based Harmony Endpoint as a Service solution, what is the most critical step to ensure a smooth migration? A. Immediately uninstall all existing endpoint clients before migration. B. Plan phased migration with coexistence, allowing endpoints to register with both environments temporarily. C. Disable all policies on premises before switching to the cloud. D. Migrate endpoint agents only after full cloud setup without prior testing. Answer. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Phased coexistence is key to minimize downtime and prevent gaps in protection. Endpoints gradually transition with both systems active, allowing fallback and troubleshooting. Immediate uninstall A or disabling policies. C. Risks exposure. Postponing migration testing. D is poor practice. This approach aligns with ITIL change management and Checkpoint's official migration guidelines. Question 14. When analyzing the merits of the web management console in Harmony Endpoint, Lee is curious about its limitations compared to Smart Console. Which of the following is true regarding the web management console's capabilities? A. It provides complete access to all advanced policy configurations. B. It allows offline management without internet connectivity. C. It is optimized for cloud-based management with A simplified interface but limited advanced features. D. It requires local installation on administrators' machines. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. The Web Management Console is designed for cloud-managed environments offering accessibility and ease of use but lacks some advanced configuration options found in Smart Console. It requires internet connectivity, contrary to B, and does not require local installation. D. Understanding these limitations is crucial when choosing deployment strategies. Checkpoint documentation clarifies the console feature set differences. Question 15. Among the various deployment methods available for Harmony Endpoint, Mr. Thompson wants to automate installation for endpoints across diverse operating systems without manual user intervention. Which method should he prefer? A. Distributing installation via email attachments. B. Using centralized deployment tools like SCCM, Intune, or GPO-based scripts. C. Instructing users to manually download and install the client. D. Using removable media such as USB drives for installation. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Centralized deployment tools support mass automated installation and updates across multiple OS platforms with minimal user intervention, which is critical for enterprise scale. Email attachments, they pose security risks. Manual downloads, C. Increase errors and non-compliance. SB deployment, D. Is outdated and inefficient. This aligns with enterprise deployment best practices outlined in Checkpoint admin resources. Question 16. Which of the following best explains the role of port protection in securing endpoints against physical attack vectors? A. It monitors only the network ports used for remote administration. B. It disables all USB ports permanently to prevent unauthorized data transfer. C. It enables granular control over device ports, allowing or blocking based on policy and device type. D. It scans removable media for malware but doesn't restrict port usage. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Port protection provides policy-driven control over hardware interfaces such as USB, Bluetooth, and serial ports, allowing it to enable or restrict access per device type or user group, balancing security and usability. Permanent disabling, B, is impractical. Mere scanning, D, is insufficient for physical attack prevention. This approach complies with NIST SB 80053 access control recommendations. Question 17. When faced with a situation where several endpoints are failing to report logs to the management server is new and suspects network-related causes, which diagnostic steps should she take first? A. Restart the Harmony endpoint service on the server. B. Verify firewall and proxy rules allowing outbound traffic from endpoints to the server. C. Reinstall the Harmony endpoint client on affected machines. D. Increase log reporting frequency in the management console. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Network configurations such as firewall or proxy restrictions commonly block endpoint communication. Verifying these rules is the fastest way to diagnose communication failure. Restarting services A or reinstalling clients C without confirming connectivity may be inefficient. Adjusting log frequency D is irrelevant if communication is blocked. This aligns with Checkpoint troubleshooting document and network security best practices. Question 18. Given the circumstances, how does the Harmony endpoint as a service he's offering differ fundamentally from traditional on-premises management? A. He's requires local hardware installation at customer premises. B. He's uses a dedicated VPN tunnel for every endpoint. C. He's is cloud managed, eliminating the need for local management infrastructure. D. He's does not support integration with Active Directory. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Ease is delivered from the cloud, removing the need for on-prem servers, enabling scalability and ease of updates. A is incorrect as no local hardware is required. VPN tunnels B are not mandatory for cloud management. Here supports add integration D to maintain identity and policy management consistency. This distinction is detailed in Checkpoint's cloud service whitepapers. Question 19. The foundation of Harmony Endpoint's web management console design is to provide administrators with rapid situational awareness. What feature best supports this goal? A. offline policy editing capabilities. B. Real-time dashboards with customizable widgets and alerts. C. Integration only with third-party SIEM tools. D. Mandatory use of Smart Console for policy review. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Real-time dashboards present critical security metrics, endpoint status, and alerts in an accessible manner, supporting prompt decision-making. Offline editing A is unsupported. While integration with SIEMs C is useful, it is not the core web console feature. Smart Console D is complementary, but not mandatory for awareness. Checkpoint's UX design documentation confirms the role of dashboards in cloud consoles. Question 20. When considering the deployment prerequisites for Harmony Endpoint, which factor must an administrator verify to ensure successful client installation? A. The endpoint must have disk encryption enabled before installation. B. The endpoint must meet minimum OS and hardware requirements specified by Checkpoint. C. The client must be installed on every virtual machine regardless of usage. D. Administrative rights are not required during installation. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Meeting minimum OS and hardware requirements is critical to ensure compatibility and performance. Disk encryption is optional and may conflict with some endpoint features. Installing clients unnecessarily on unused VMS. C. Wastes resources. Administrative privileges. D. Are generally required for installation to modify system components. This prerequisite is documented in Checkpoint endpoint installation guides. Question 21. In light of recent developments, Istijane is tasked with securing removable media usage across the enterprise. He wants to ensure that data copied to USB drives is protected even if lost or stolen. Which Harmony endpoint feature should he enable to fulfill this requirement? A. Port protection with read-only USB policy. B. Full disk encryption (FD) on removable media devices. C. Anti-ransomware scanning for USB drives. D. Threat emulation on all files transferred via USB. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Full disk encryption (FDE) on removable media ensures that data on USB drives is encrypted and inaccessible without proper credentials, providing protection in case of loss or theft. Port protection controls access but does not encrypt data. Anti-ransomware C. Prevents ransomware but doesn't protect data confidentiality on removable devices. Threat emulation D. Applies to files but not to data at rest. This aligns with ISO 27040 on storage security and Checkpoint's data protection guidelines. Question 22. When faced with a communication issue where some Harmony endpoint clients intermittently fail to receive updates, which of the following is the most effective troubleshooting approach? A. Immediately reinstall all affected endpoint agents. B. Change the management server IP address. C. Disable endpoint firewalls temporarily. D. Examine network latency and packet loss between clients and the management server. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Intermittent communication failures often stem from unstable network conditions such as latency or packet loss. Investigating network metrics helps identify root causes without drastic measures. Reinstallation and IP changes B. Are disruptive and may not address the core problem. Disabling firewalls C. Risk security and should be a last resort. Checkpoints troubleshooting best practices M. Network diagnostics first. Question 23. Through careful analysis of Harmony endpoints architecture, which component is responsible for enforcing security policies locally on endpoints? A. Management server. B. Endpoint agent. C. Supernode. D. Threat cloud. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The endpoint agent is the installed client on devices that enforces policies such as firewall rules, anti-malware, scanning and port control. The management server distributes policies but does not enforce them locally. Supernodes facilitate communication but do not enforce policies. Threat cloud provides threat intelligence but does not directly enforce local security. This aligns with the Harmony and architecture documentation. Question 24. Considering the evidence from a recent security incident, Kumar wants to utilize anti-exploit and behavioral guard features to prevent malware from exploiting vulnerabilities. How do these features complement each other in Harmony Endpoint? A. Anti-exploit scans files before execution. A behavioral guard monitors user behavior. B. Anti-exploit blocks known exploit techniques. A behavioral guard detects anomalous application behavior at runtime. C. Both features perform signature-based detection only. D. They only work after malware has infected the endpoint. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Anti-exploit focuses on blocking exploit techniques such as buffer overflows and code injection by analyzing exploit patterns, while behavioral guard monitors real-time application behavior to detect anomalies indicative of malware activity. They provide layered protection, addressing different attack stages proactively. Signature-based detection C is insufficient for zero-day exploits. Early detection prevents post-infection damage, unlike D. This approach aligns with MITRE framework and checkpoint product design. Question 25. The traditional approach to managing endpoint policies involved static configurations. In a dynamic enterprise environment, what is the primary advantage of using policy layers and tags in the Harmony Endpoint Management Console? A. They reduce the total number of policies required by applying static rules universally. B. They require manual policy application on each endpoint. C. They enable granular and flexible policy application based on user roles, device type, or location. D. They prevent updates to policies during business hours. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Policy layers and tags provide a flexible mechanism to apply different policies to endpoints based on contextual factors such as user role, device type, or geographic location, allowing adaptive security postures. Static universal policies A lack flexibility. Manual application B is inefficient, preventing updates during business hours. D is unrelated. This capability aligns with best practice in role-based access control, RBAC, and dynamic policy management. Question 26. Given the circumstances where an enterprise uses supernodes for large-scale Harmony endpoint deployment, what is a significant benefit of using supernodes in the network? A. They allow endpoint clients to bypass security policies during high load. B. They function as backup management servers. C. They reduce bandwidth consumption and offload communication from the central server. D. They perform local malware scans on behalf of endpoints. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Supernodes act as intermediaries that cache policies and logs locally, reducing the amount of traffic to the central management server and improving scalability and performance in large environments. They do not bypass security. A. Replace management servers. B. Or perform malware scans. D. This aligns with checkpoints documentation on large-scale deployment strategies. Question 27. During the process of endpoint agent deployment, which of the following prerequisites is mandatory to ensure the installation completes successfully on Windows endpoints? A. Endpoint disk must be fully encrypted before installation. B. The endpoint must have the latest antivirus installed. C. Endpoint firewall must be disabled. D. Installation must be run with administrative privileges. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Administrative privileges are required to install the Harmony endpoint agent as it modifies core system components like drivers and services. Disk encryption A and antivirus B are recommended but not mandatory. Disabling the firewall C is not necessary and reduces security. Checkpoint installation guides emphasize the need for administrative rights for successful installation. Question 20. In the absence of detailed logs, what is the most reliable method for an administrator to confirm that Harmony endpoint clients are correctly communicating with the management server? A. Ping the management server from the client. B. Use the client's built-in connectivity test or diagnostic tool. C. Check for updated antivirus definitions only. D. Restart the client service and wait 24 hours. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The client's connectivity test or diagnostic tool provides specific checks on ports, DNS resolution, and policy retrieval processes, giving reliable confirmation of communication status. Ping A only tests network reachability, not full protocol communication. Antivirus updates, C, a not reliable indicator of management communication. Restarting services, D, without diagnostics delays troubleshooting. Checkpoints troubleshooting documentation recommends using built-in client tools first. Question 29. What factors contribute to an effective anti-ransomware defense mechanism in Harmony Endpoint? A. Signature-based scanning only. B. User education and email filtering exclusively. C. Behavioral monitoring combined with automatic remediation and backup restoration. D. Disabling removable media access entirely. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. An effective anti-ransomware strategy uses behavioral detection to identify suspicious encryption activity, triggers automatic remediation such as process termination, and supports restoration of encrypted data from backups. Signature only is insufficient for novel ransomware variants. User education and filtering, B. Helper, not comprehensive. Disabling removable media, D. is extreme, not always practical. These principles align with NIST SB 80083 and Checkpoint's advanced endpoint security design. Question 30. From a practical standpoint, why is threat emulation considered an essential feature in defending against advanced persistent threats apt within Harmony Endpoint? A. It reduces CPU load on endpoint devices. B. It blocks all executable files by default. C. It relies exclusively on signature-based detection. D. It executes suspicious files in a virtual sandbox to detect unknown malware behavior. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Threat emulation runs suspicious files in an isolated virtual environment to observe behavior before allowing them on endpoints, detecting unknown or zero-day threats that signature-based methods miss. It does not block all executables. B. Nor reduce CPU load. A. It goes beyond signature detection. C. This method is critical against stealthy apps as supported by industry standards such as MITRE, Checkpoint Whitelist.